Hello and welcome to Anastasia Tarot and Vedic Astrology. Up today is a flip-through review for Tarocchi Piacentini, which is published by Lo Scarabeo, and it's part of their historic Anima Antiqua line. So we'll do a complete flip through and I'll talk a little bit about why this is one of my recommended decks for beginners or anyone who wants a budget-friendly entry into historic deck reproductions. And then at the very end, we'll do a little comparison with the Eduardo Dotti Lombardy Tarot from 1865. That deck is very similar, so we'll just have a look at both of them side by side. So first of all, why do I recommend this deck for beginners or as an entry-level deck for historic reproductions of Tarocchi? It's very reasonably priced. It's, Lo Scarabeo, mass market. It's very reasonably priced. And you can see it comes in really nice, sturdy box. So another reason I recommend this deck is its size. As you can see, it fits easily into the hand. It's very easy to handle if you have small hands or just want something that is easy to handle and easy to shuffle. In the box is the typical Lo Scarabeo booklet that comes in multiple languages. And there's also this information card, Tarocchi Piacentini, Piacenza, Italy, 1875. So this is a reproduction, and the information card says, the images of this deck of tarot were digitalized from public domain sources and or private collections. They were then optimized to reproduce the appearance and colors, faithful to the originals as possible during the printing process. In order to preserve the original feeling of these ancient images, the cards have not been treated with chemical varnish, and as a result, they may not be suitable for shuffling. Now, I personally have used this deck a lot, and I have not had any problems whatsoever with the finish. In fact, I think it's a great finish. It's not all stinky like some of the cards you get. The varnish just smells too strong. So I'm very happy with how they shuffle and how they read. So let's get into the flip through. that was the majors. Now let's have a look at the courts. These are the page, knight, queen, and king of spade or swords. Next we have bastoni or wands. The coppe or cups. And the denari or coins. And now the spade or swords. So in these historic decks, the swords are curved and like a scimitar, which harkens back to the old Mamluk decks, which came to Europe from the Middle East and the Levant. And sometimes when people are first getting started with these old school decks, now these aren't in any particular order, so if they're out of order, don't freak out. They're all here. But sometimes beginners, when they're reading these old school decks, they mix up the bastoni and the spade, and the thing to remember is the spade are curved. Oh, I think we're upside down here. And one thing to note with this deck is sometimes for the 9, they use IX, and other times they use the VIII, I believe. We'll find out as we get into the other suits. And now the bastoni or wands suit. And as you can see, the bastoni are straight. Oh, this one is also using IX for 9. And now we have the cups, coppe. And as you can see, the publisher's imprint is on the 2 of cups. Okay, so this deck actually seems to be pretty consistent using IX for the Roman numeral of 9. And finally, we have the suit of denarii or coins. So a little bit out of order. That was the 8. This is the 10. Oh, I guess that was the 7. That was a 10. This is the 8. And finally, just a quick comparison between Lo Scarabeo, Tarocchi Piacentini, and the Deviant Moon, Patrick Valenza release of Eduardo Dotti, Lombardy Tarot. So the Patrick Valenza release is from 1865, and the Lo Scarabeo is from 1875. So these decks were very contemporary to each other, and they are very similar. If you're trying to decide between these two decks, they're really similar price points. They read about the same. The main difference is you can see the Lo Scarabeo box it's really much bigger. The box itself is much bigger and bulkier. And it's a little bit surprising, but with the cards themselves, the Lo Scarabeo cards are actually a little bit smaller than the Patrick Valenza cards, which is, you would think these have a bigger box, these have a smaller box. It's a little bit surprising. But both decks are nice and small and fit easily into your hands. And as you can see, the artwork is quite similar. The main difference is the corners on the Patrick Valenza deck. The Eduardo Dotti are sharp, which is more historically accurate. However, they are a little bit stabby. When you're reading, they can be a little bit stabby. So if you prefer the rounded corners, that might be a thing. And as you can see, the color scheme is just slightly different. The Eduardo Dotti has what to me is a more subtle and organic color scheme, whereas the Piacenza has a more primary, little bit brighter color scheme. Now, I happen to really like the color scheme in this Dotti deck. I like the more subtle, more organic colors. To me, these colors look a little bit more old school. However, as you can see, these decks are very, very similar. They're at a similar price point, and they're both quite easy to read, especially if you're just getting started reading historic decks. So both of these highly recommended as budget-friendly entries into the historic reproduction Tarocchi decks. So that was your short comparison of two budget-friendly decks that are historic Tarocchi reproductions from the 1800s, the Tarocchi Piacentini and the Eduardo Dotti. Please do let me know in the comments if you have these decks, what you think of them, if you're thinking about getting them, which one you like better, which one you're leaning toward. If you want to see a full flip through of the Lombardy Eduardo Dotti, there is a video that has a full flip through of this deck on the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and may you enjoy and have many blessings of wisdom on your Fool's journey, whatever deck you're using.